Now would be a good time to, well, congratulate good conservative governance. You know, I knew there was going to be a time when I would address the world and tell them what a good job American conservatism does when allowed to run rampant and freely in the society. There's no other state where that's more of an example than the state of Florida. It's a conservative mecca. The conservative governance principle solely runs and operates Florida. There's only one statewide elected Democrat official currently serving in the entire state of Florida. So it's dominated by conservative dogma and ignorance. But we're congratulating them, right? Well, we're congratulating them for achieving something that, well, even I thought was too horrendous and atrocious to achieve. But due to their good governance, they've achieved it. They've unlocked it. According to the Associated Press, 1,000 manatees, you know, the big, huge animal, the aquatic animal, the manatee, a very beautiful creature. 1,000 of them died last year, in 1 year, in Florida, due to conservative conservation standards. 1,000 manatees died, washed up on shore in Florida last year. Now you ask, why are the manatees dying? Because of the water pollution. It's so toxic that it murdered all the seagrass. And that's what manatees naturally eat. So the manatees starve to death because seagrass is not able to grow in the water in Florida anymore because of the pollution and toxins. White supremacy murdered the manatees. They genocided them, just like they genocided the indigenous, just like they genocided African Americans. They genocided the manatees last year. Ron DeSantis has been running the state of Florida. Their senators, both, are conservative firebrands. The state house and senate is run by the Republicans. The Republican Party in Florida genocided the manatees. 1,000 of them genocided, murdered, last year alone. It's so bad in Florida, the genocide record of the manatees by the conservative movement, that the Wildlife Refuge has had to step in and provide emergency food to the manatees. Cabbage. You know, they're trying to see if they can feed them cabbage, if they'll eat the cabbage, because all of their food no longer exists. And thus far, it's an experiment. They're trying to see if they will eat the cabbage. They don't know whether the manatees that did survive will eat the cabbage. They were able to rescue 159 in distress last year. Those are the ones they're trying to see if they'll eat the cabbage at the zoo and aquarium that they've had to relocate them to in a state of emergency. And they don't know if they'll eat the cabbage. So the 159 that are in distress might also die, meaning that they might have completely wiped out the whole species of manatees. Congratulations, Republican Party. You know what you're doing. You want to run Florida just like the entire nation. That's what you tell us. Donald Trump, he's a Floridian, the lunatic of Mar-a-Lago. He's down there. He's responsible for the genocide of the manatees too. Ron DeSantis, he's been the governor for 4 years. He genocided the manatees. Nikki, when you're running to replace that lunatic, that genocidal maniac, will you please tell the great citizens of Florida that your governor genocided the manatees? Nikki, I beg you, please. This is not coming from me. This is coming from your Associated Press, who must have pictures of all the dead manatees. Do you know how many 1,000 manatees washing across the shores of Florida would look like if they were all piled together? The manatee is a huge creature, a very large species. 1,000 dead in 1 year. Now your evil dictator, your tyrannical lunatic, Ron DeSantis, he decided he wanted to appropriate some funding after the story broke, because his genocidal ways looked so bad. So he decided that he wanted to give 35 million and 140 million here to something else. So in total about 170 million. So it costs $170 million to genocide a whole species in Florida. Nikki, will you please tell the Floridians that your demonic, tyrannical governor genocided an entire species, and he decided to pay restitution of $170 million for this genocide? It's incredible how awful and toxic conservative leadership is in this country. You can't make this shit up. In Idaho, the conservative governor, Brad Little, he told you he wanted to call 99% of all the wolves in Idaho. He opened it up to hunters so they could murder all the wolves. The kids in Idaho had to write letters to the president and vice president demanding that they put a stop to what Idaho was doing. They killed an entire family of wolves that those kids had been following since they were small little kids. They had named those wolves. They had been sending pictures of the wolves as they grew older. They murdered those wolves and didn't want to tell the little kids. You wonder why volcanoes the size 6 times the size of Hiroshima, the nuclear bomb, are going off in Tonga. It's because the planet is sick of you. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. You don't know how to manage this. When the indigenous were running this, there were not 1,000 manatees. washing up on the shores of Florida. They knew what the fuck they were doing. They didn't kill 99% of the wolves in Idaho. You conservatives don't know what the fuck you're doing. You're genociding everything that you touch. You must be removed from all levers of power in this country. Everything is dying because of you. 100,000 preventable deaths under Donald Trump due to COVID. His own task force chair said this in public, documented and sent records to the investigating committee. Everything the conservative movement touches dies, and yet you continue to vote for them. It's amazing. It's amazing. They've hoodwinked you for centuries, and you continue to vote them. Can't make this shit up. Nikki, tell Floridians that Ron DeSantis murdered all the manatees. Go to the high schools. Go to the colleges. Go to the K through 12 schools and tell the children the truth that Ron DeSantis and his policies, conservative policies in Florida, due to not wanting to even acknowledge climate change, led to the genocide of the manatees. I guess we won't be able to teach that in school. What do you want to call that? Critical manatee theory? We call things theories that are actually factually evident and apparent and truthful and based in solid logic and reasoning. Those things are called theories. The only thing conservatives believe in nowadays are conspiracy theories. Things that are batshit crazy, bonkers, lunatic. Oh, that's true. You know somebody that's been dead and was assassinated in the 60s. They're going to return back to the same spot they were assassinated in. That's the kind of things conservatives believe nowadays. They can't be allowed to govern much longer. It's like the fucking Twilight Zone. Outside and inside. There's nothing left of them. They're hollow. They have to be removed. Nikki, tell those children he murdered and genocided all those manatees. If you won't tell them, I'm going to tell them in Florida. You tell them children that he murdered all those manatees. I didn't say it. The Associated Press said it.